AI bots on social media are capable of scraping a person's personal profile and creating a new account that mimics them. These accounts then advertise paid sex and pornography to people the victim knows personally.
This gear weighs over 40 pounds, and that's not counting the tools they carry. Imagine wearing this and crawling through tight, hot spaces. If you look at this map beside me, you'll see that over half of West Virginia's counties, from the eastern panhandle to the southern coalfields, are designated as medically underserved, which means fewer doctors, fewer hospitals, and longer waits for care for anyone who needs it.
Tourism generates more than $6 billion in annual revenue for the state.
Here's how it happens. You're scrolling on social media and a post catches your attention. You spend 7 seconds on it, which is all it takes for the algorithm to recommend you similar content, even if it's false. Then you might decide to share it, which then pushes that misinformation onto other people's feeds.
1 in 9 West Virginians go hungry every day. And with 14% of the state population experiencing food insecurity, it's the 4th hungriest state in the country.
Ever wonder what it takes to train for some of the world's most dangerous rescues? Straight ahead on WVU News, I'm Claudia Di Lima, and we're going underground to find out.
One WVU student is shearing her way to success. Drew Solt reports.
This glass can get up to 2,800 degrees. Once it's cooled, it's then sent to another part of the factory where it's sanded, sawed, and painted, then shipped off around the world.
The Ukrainian Global Congress created this interactive map to commemorate the 2nd anniversary of the Russian invasion. Over 150 Ukrainian cities have already registered peaceful rallies on the map, just like this one. Researchers have been trying to find an affordable alternative to fossil fuels for decades. Tired of high gas prices? I'm Claudia Di Lima, and coming up on WVU News, I'll tell you about new research going on at the Statler College of Engineering that might help you find an alternative.
So what might this mean for consumers? Well, you may not be able to find products like this one on store shelves anymore. However, some companies are already implementing new reformulated products before the ban is implemented. Coming up on WVU News, AI is on the rise, and with it, people's concerns about their safety online. I'm Claudia Di Lima, and I'll have that story next. In 2022, more than 4 billion people used social media worldwide. And online, a new trend is emerging. AI bots stealing a person's information to promote adult content under their name. For Gabby Cummings, this nightmare became a reality. A fake Instagram account used her face on illicit photos.
I was worried about my future career as like an art therapist and applying to grad schools and applying to jobs because they always say like, you know, nothing is truly deleted online. And I felt nervous and scared that it would impact me for something I was not doing.
These bots used advanced algorithms to avoid detection from the social media platforms, posing as real people with real profiles. They can even direct message other social media users from these accounts, encouraging the viewing and purchase of fake pornography of the victim. AI bots on social media are capable of scraping a person's personal profile and creating a new account that mimics them. These accounts then advertise paid sex and pornography to people the victim knows personally. Fake accounts can be reported, but it can take days or even weeks for the platform to remove it, all while the bot remains active. But police say there are laws that can help victims take legal action.
There are state codes that they can be charged with. Obviously, investigations would have to ensue. There would be search warrants involved to identify where those images, information, whatever it is that was taken, was sent to, and then we would look into IP addresses, different things of that nature to identify who that person was.
Experts say social media users can protect themselves by having private accounts and reporting suspicious activity online. Mimi Ferguson grew up in Tucker County, West Virginia. For her family, any emergency meant at least a 30-minute trip to the nearest hospital. A horrifying reality they encountered when her brother was in a near-fatal car accident on an isolated mountain.
He was transported 45 minutes to the hospital in Elkins, West Virginia, and the weather was bad, so he actually had to wait at that hospital before he could be life-flighted to Ruby Memorial. The hospital that he was transported to in Elkins is only a level 1 trauma center, so there wasn't very much help that they could provide for him there other than to get him prepped and ready to be life-flighted.
The Fergusons aren't the only ones who have encountered this problem. A healthcare desert refers to an area where there is limited access to hospitals, primary care, pharmacies, and emergency services. This is a lived reality in West Virginia, where there are 0 rural emergency hospitals. If you look at this map beside me, you'll see that over half of West Virginia's counties, from the eastern panhandle to the southern coalfields, are designated as medically underserved,
which means fewer doctors, fewer hospitals, and longer waits for care for anyone who needs it.
West Virginians struggle to access basic medical care, but the state has the highest medical student to population ratio. There are 88 students for every 100,000 people in the state, but only about 20% of those medical students stay in West Virginia after they graduate.
If a student or a physician finishes their last part of their training in West Virginia, 77% of those physicians stayed. If they leave West Virginia for the last part of their training, only 7% of those physicians came back.
Marsh says WVU Medicine is trying to both increase access to care and keep more healthcare graduates in the state. But it's a bigger problem than one institution alone can fix. West Virginia is facing a projected 14% shortage of physicians and currently has a 19% shortage of registered nurses. Med student Sophia Flower says she'd rather practice in West Virginia, but understands that for many of her classmates, there are more opportunities elsewhere.
There's a lot of different opportunities out of state, especially if you're going to be a specialist, so any sort of surgeon or internal medicine specialist. There's not a ton of opportunities unless you're at a big academic institution. So in West Virginia, there's only a few, whereas other states have a lot more.
For Ferguson, another medical emergency feels like testing her family's luck, and she wants the state to do more.
The state could probably improve their funding of those services, as well as improve the programs and the training opportunities for people to receive.
For now, Ferguson and her family hope to see broader healthcare access in the rest of the state. For West Virginia Today, I'm Claudia Di Lima in Morgantown. Recently, the Ukrainian Mountaineers Association and the Ukrainian community of Morgantown hosted events to recognize the beginning of the Russia-Ukraine war. I attended the Rally for Ukraine. On February 24th, 2022, Russia launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine, the largest aggression on a European country since World War II. Some people, like Ukrainian WVU student Mark Voidiani, feel the dire effects of the war here in West Virginia.
It's devastating. It's really devastating because, it's not only about me, my family, it's about the whole country. Because each family in Ukraine, they feel the impact, and every day there is somebody dying.
Voidiani is a member of the Ukrainian Mountaineers Association. He and other Ukrainian students are facing incredible uncertainty. Many cannot travel back home and lack funding from their families. Officials say that students are cut off financially, as many banks in Ukraine are not functioning. The Ukrainian Global Congress created this interactive map to commemorate the second anniversary of the Russian invasion. Over 150 Ukrainian cities have already registered peaceful rallies on the map, just like this one. Ukrainian activists hope the world comes together to remind everyone of the ongoing war. Eric Heron, a WVU political science professor, says the war has serious long-term implications.
I think the fear, and it's a real fear, is if the war does not go well, Putin will not stop, and at some point it may involve American troops and American lives. And helping Ukraine now really helps protect Americans.
With 3.6 million people displaced and 6.3 million others seeking refuge abroad, Ukraine has struggled throughout this conflict. And Voidiani says the U.S.'s support of Ukraine is vital.
We really appreciate the U.S. aid to Ukraine. It means a lot, and we want this war to be over.
This rally closed out a full week of events organized to raise money and awareness for the Ukrainian community. Here at WVU, the mine rescue team is preparing students for the critical job of rescuing miners stuck underground during an emergency. One exporter, Fiesta Tableware, is the last surviving clay factory in the country, and as Samantha Smith reports, does more than just provide jobs for the people who love their colorful products. A total of 64 measles cases have been reported by 17 states in 2024. In just 3 months, the number of cases already exceeds the number from last year. Americans' credit card balances tip the scale at over $1 trillion. But one state senator proposed a bill to help with PEIA funding, which ultimately failed to make it off the Senate floor. And Catherine, the death rate among people with anorexia nervosa is the highest of all mental illnesses and affects up to 3% of young women. WVU football is in full swing as players tackle spring practice in preparation for the fall football season. Now, West Virginia law requires coal mines to have rescue teams available during their operating hours. According to the National Brewers Association, craft beer sales declined by 4% in 2024. Thanks, Lily. From events like the Mothman Festival to tours of historic sites like the State Penitentiary, the Kennedy Creative Arts Center is back with their first show of the semester. The Book of Will is a powerful play focusing on the plays of William Shakespeare. Now, a West Virginia native is showcasing this industry in a way she knows best. March is Women's History Month, and WVU has 2 women's sports teams that are celebrating historic milestones. The WVU Mine Rescue Team won first place at the 2023 and 2024 Intercollegiate Mine Emergency Response Competitions in Colorado and British Columbia. Ty McClung and digital reporter Jonathan Edwards traveled to Madison to meet some of them turning small-town matches into big-time goals. The Kennedy Creative Arts Center is back with another Mountain Stage concert series. These recorded live events bring you music you love, anytime and anywhere. University administrators plan to create a campus safety group to make recommendations about campus safety initiatives before campus carry is permitted. Manchin announced he will not be running for president in 2024. The West Virginia Democrat made the announcement in a press conference on West Virginia University's campus. Manchin is retiring as a senator and has been considering a bid for the White House that would have shaken up the 2024 campaign. The team's roots stretch all the way back to the 1910s, a time when the West Virginia Office of Miners Health, Safety, and Training says it was common to see at least one fatal accident occur each day.